The two survivors loot the necromancer and spend the night recovering. The next day, they sneak past the remaining dead, wandering the streets, and head to Confluence. They announce their victory to the sheriff, and Ebner also declares his ownership of Meadstead. The sheriff seems nonplussed, mentions that there may be a rightful owner, and High Castle may have answers as to who that may be. They go see the Baron, who gives them a letter of introduction, which should get them an audience with the Archmage of High Castle, who can identify their magical loot. The next day, they travel to High Castle, reaching it in the evening, so they find an inn where they can spend the night. That is where they meet Chives, a halfling bard, and Valerio, a reticent human, who is a disgraced paladin. In the morning they go meet with the Archmage, who agrees to identify their loot. Also, to petition the king to give ownership of Meadstead to Ebner, and allowing the good people of Latrine to immigrate there, though it will take a few days. So having some downtime, they try to sell some of the treasure they found in a busy square, and Ebner uses the magical stones of light and darkness he made to enhance their selling potential. Unfortunately, the populace frowns on the mischievous use of magic. He gets an earful, and they head to a merchant instead. Meanwhile, Chives tries to get a gig at a high-class tavern, but gets snubbed, so in revenge, he breaks in and steals the cutlery, trapping the door with dinnerware before he leaves. Finally, it is time for Ebner and Jebediah to collect their loot from the Archmage. She informs them that the spear, while a powerful weapon, is also a sacred hobgoblin relic and may draw their attention and ire. They are also granted permission to bring the people of Latrine to settle in Meadstead, as long as an oath of loyalty is sworn to the King of High Castle. The party assemble and head to Meadstead to clear out the dead and make it safe for settlement. During their search for salvage, they find a prison in a desecrated temple, holding the emaciated surviving populace of Meadstead, as well as the lair of the necromancer. Will the resettlement go smoothly? Will it evoke the dragon's wrath? Will Ebner become a landowner? Let's find out now on Desperate Measures.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Desperate Measures. How are you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
Amazing.
We get to
Mooten,
play D&D. It's a good day.
Yep.
Are you fully moved into your new place, Mooten?
No.
No, you're still going back and forth between the two.
I have the apartment
apartments?
till the 23rd, so like I paid a month's rent for that. I'm
You're gonna get a month out of
I'm gonna
it.
get a month out of it.
Nice,
Fair
nice. Is your streaming set up in the old place or the new place?
No, my whole streaming stuff is in the new place, so it's kind of like walking to work every morning. I have to walk like 5 minutes across the apartment building.
That's kind of good, you know. That way you
nice.
don't get too roped into your wake up, go to hang out in the bedroom and play games, and then go to sleep in the bedroom. You know, you get out of the house maybe a little bit. You have to put on pants to go from one apartment to the other.
I always put on pants and stuff when I'm streaming. I always, I don't know why. Maybe not pants, but shorts at least. Because I'm afraid if I get up, I'll just get banned.
Yeah. Well, you should always wear some amount of clothing while streaming. Those mistakes do happen.
Just in case, yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, it's the difference between hanging around in your sweatpants and sweat shorts.
And looking nice,
sweatshirts. Yeah, and, having to see other people in the hallway who know you.
Yep.
Oh. What about you, Connor? How's life been?
Well, it up and down. You know how it goes. We're in this slight lull period at work between real big events. Thankfully, the next real big event, just like the last one, I'm not going to be super heavily involved in, especially since it lasts a long ass time. And
but you recently completed some classes, certifications, testing. How's it all working out?
I got a new qualification. Basically, that sets me up for if I decide to stay in. But other than that, I'm not doing too much with it right now. Just working on boat stuff.
No, nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Will? Is the rodeo in town again?
No, they just left. Actually, they're gone. We won't see them till next year. It's a sad time.
A whole year? They just come by once? Oh my god.
Yeah, we do it once a year. It's a pretty big deal. Comes through town, whole bunch of people. Actually, it really is. An entire section of town basically shuts down because of it. It's pretty crazy.
Sounds pretty sweet. I've never been to a rodeo. They didn't really have them in my town when I was a kid.
You should come through then. It's a good time.
I would love to. Rodeos have a deep history, which I think is fascinating, and I think they are much more interesting sporting events. You know, it's not like you're watching NASCAR where it's like 500 rounds of people doing the same fucking lap, or football where they're like, which is a great sport, but they'll like play for a moment and then it's like 5 minutes of break while they reset up the ball, or basketball, which just drags on forever with no real purpose. I don't know. Rodeos seem like they would be really fascinating.
Soccer drags on.
They are. There's some. They have a couple. There's a little bit of time, but sometimes they're setting up for new things. But that's fine because you got to go to the bathroom. You've got to get stuff sometimes. But it's reasonable. It's reasonable.
What is
and
your
the things you think you could maybe do, even though there's no way it could actually happen. Like riding a bull, you're like, I could for sure do that, but there's no way. You would die.
Those things are huge. That would be the most terrifying thing in the world, I think.
It is. It looks absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it's like the Western version of hockey, basically. I mean, I know they're very different. One is like a team sport where you score, but they're both like really dangerous and fast-paced and super exciting. So I'd be down to see.
But you have a lot of reason to hold on because if you're on the back of him, he can't hit you. That's also my other thing I'm thinking. You've got
because he can't kick you if you're on him, right?
Right.
But the moment you go off,
yeah, terrifying. Hopefully 8 seconds later.
Imagine being a rodeo clown.
Neal, you said the Western version of hockey.
Yeah.
Hockey is a Western sport.
I meant like not East West, like Old World, New World. I meant like West, as in like the spirit of Western America, like Southwest. Yeah.
I understand.
But I see what you could mean. Hockey's the northern sport. I don't know.
Damn Yankees.
Brewskis play it too.
It wasn't the Yankees that invented it. It's the Canucks.
The Canucks get hockey before the Brewskis?
Nova Scotia.
Ooh.
Yes, I literally just looked that up. I don't know shit about hockey other than what I've looked up in the last 5 minutes.
And Tom, have you given up on Long War forever? Is it over? Is it the dream dead?
Well, Long War probably. XCOM definitely not. But I don't know if I'll ever come back to Long War. It's just the only thing bad about Long War is that it's long, and
that's such a true statement, though.
If it was just called War, it would probably be good.
If it was half the length, it would be really nice.
Right. Yeah, it's just I want to keep playing Iron Man, but it's just too much time investment for the time that I have available. Like if I was a full-time streamer, I could probably, and if I didn't play Iron Man, then I feel like I could do it. But just playing Iron Man and not having the time investment, I mean, it took me like 3 or 4 months to get through my playthrough, and I had to compromise and say, okay, well, past this point, it's not going to be strictly Iron Man. I'm going to reload from a checkpoint save because I just can't put 40 hours into a single campaign and have a squad wipe and go, well, it's over. I guess I got to throw 40 hours out the door. But anyways,
exactly. Yeah, it's a nightmare. I have never actually finished it. Did you actually finish the Long War?
Yeah, I finished it. It wasn't long. It wasn't Iron Man all the way through, but I did pseudo Iron Man. So like, if somebody died, I wasn't gonna reload I never reload the mission and run it again or anything like that until no one dies. But if I suffered a big enough setback, then I would have a backup save that I would move out of the folder and I would put it in, and it's still considered Iron Man, but it's not really Iron Man anyway. But
oh my god,
we got to the end of it, and I got to the end of it back in December, and so I've been taking a break, and I've been playing BattleTech. So I want to get to the end of the BattleTech campaign before I go back to XCOM. So that's what
we were talking about BattleTech during the pre-show.
Yeah, I've just been becoming. It's amazing how much there's such rich lore behind BattleTech, and this also for people who don't know BattleTech, you probably would recognize it from MechWarrior. The MechWarrior games back in the day BattleTech that's the same universe. It's just the whole BattleTech universe. And I never played those games when I was younger, but there's such rich lore behind it, and I'm becoming a nerd now of BattleTech. So I'm glad I started playing that. But yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Good.
Koibu.
Yeah.
Last session, we did some investigation, I would say, and we found people alive in that guy's dungeon, the Necromancer. I would say this is worth some experience. Seeing all the dead bodies. Did you guys get XP
last week?
We did not.
No one got XP last week?
No,
because no.
You said not yet. We'll do it next week. Because I'm 1 XP off. I would know.
You're 1 XP off.
Both of us are.
True.
Oh, wow. That's really juicy.
That's why we're here.
Well,
you really want that 1 XP right now, don't you?
Yeah.
Before we start today's session.
Yeah.
You want something, huh?
Something.
What if I...
Something.
What can I give you instead of experience that you might want?
Magic items.
No, I would rather the experience, I think, at this point.
Yes.
Just wants the HP, man.
I
just want the
desperately
HP.
Needs that.
I'm sorry, you don't have 10 HP. You've got 29. You have the second highest HP in the party.
I never said I had 10 HP.
Because I'm failing doesn't mean he doesn't need more, okay? That's not how this works.
All right. So last week's adventures brought you from Meadstead to High Castle, back to Meadstead. You talked with people. There was some low-risk combat going on.
Yeah, we just hand-waved the combat.
The combat was whatever. We hand-waved that. We convinced the king to let our people move.
Yeah, that's an important thing. And you gotta
I was going to try and give you that quest XP once you actually brought the people there, rather than giving it out piecemeal, like 250 for this part of the quest, 250 for that part of the quest. You know, I was going to just do it one lump sum at the very end was the goal.
Sure.
So can you sell me on XP for something else that you've done?
Finding the people, and
finding the Necromancer lair,
having the experience of like seeing the Necromancer lair and like reading through the books a little bit, killing the heads and stuff. I would say like that was a big experience.
That was a moment of great experience for you.
Yeah.
Yes, it seems to have shaped your concepts on what is right and wrong in the world as well. A little bit.
Does.
That's definitely some experiencing moment here. Why don't you each take home 250 points of experience for your necromantic discoveries?
It's getting scary there. I thought it was going to give me a whole bunch.
If I start at level 4, what's the?
You should start at 9,000.
What's the bar? 9,000. Okay, so I'm at 9,000.
I think that's what we had said.
Okay.
Is that right, Will? You're both starting at 9K?
Yes, that's what I mean. Based upon the text that we have exchanged, yes. that is what I will say.
Excellent.
Okay, I'm at 2,000. Or sorry.
No, go ahead. I was
just saying my XP is 27,774.
A lot of experience.
6th level now.
Nice.
What's the threshold for the 10% extra if you're like a paladin, or does that apply?
Your prime requisites are going to be
strength and charisma, I want to say.
Okay, so I've got 17 charisma and I've got 16 strength.
There's a will. One of them strength, and it might be will, and it might be charisma. I can't remember.
You are will.
It's weird to be charisma because you have to have a 17 to be a paladin. See, that would be like a fruitless requirement.
Right.
But I mean, you say that like 2nd edition doesn't put fruitless things in there randomly.
That's very true. That's a very observant. You know what? You're right. It is strength and charisma.
Strength and charisma. Yeah. Wow.
But you have to have 17 charisma.
Bastard.
You have to have 17 charisma, so it's great. It's really just strength.
Okay.
You lucky fucking bastard. I have to have dex, strength, and will.
Oh wow.
To get the 10%. So, it's horseshit.
Is 16 enough for strength?
Oh, I get that as well.
Okay.
Good call, Tom.
It's 25 extra.
Okay, so 25 extra on top of that, so 9,000. All right.
And then I roll a d8 plus 2 for the HP.
Yep. Let's do it.
Oh my god, you get to roll d8s.
What do you get to roll? D4s?
D6s.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
All right.
Oh, yeah, I gotta roll my D10.
That's why we
Me too.
But we care about those +2s. That high cons for.
We do, boys.
Connor?
Drew.
Yeah, we do, boys.
Ooh, same HP rolls. Very nice.
The
You
Malachite
should have asked
roll.
Tom to do it for you. His rolls are always better.
Yeah.
And then I just get another
that's not
spell
gonna-
slot, so I have 2 level 3 spells.
I just kind of accepted that I'm gonna have really low HP for a fighter. I came to in terms of that, like on my second HP roll.
Yeah.
Well, here we are in Meadstead. The people have been freed, but the town has very clearly been sacked and looted. The houses that you would expect to have treasure in them do not. The churches are looted of their gold and silver and gems and jewels. The keep has no treasure either. It looks like all of the valuables of Meadstead have already been exported somewhere to some loot baron who is hiding it all. The people, those that have survived, have been set free and are struggling with their situation. But their dark night is temporarily over. What are you going to do now?
So we're in Meadstead currently, correct?
Yes, sir.
I believe we're going to go back to Confluence and then to High Castle. I think that's our next step.
Is there anything that you need to do before you embark upon this section of your journey?
I get a non-weapon proficiency.
Do I get anything at level 5? I don't think so. Since I'm not specialized, I can't master.
No, you get yours at 3s. Every 3 levels you get a weapon and non-weapon, I think. Or it's 3 for a weapon and 4 for a non-weapon?
No, it's 3 and 3. I'm looking at your table.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So the cleric will get a non-weapon. Is there anything that you're working on, cleric?
I'm not really working on anything right now, I don't think. I'm trying to think of like what I would take. I gotta find the non-weapon proficiency table, hold on.
Well, think about it for a while. We don't have to do it immediately. So the rest of the party is gathered forth, ready to return to High Castle by means of Confluence, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
But
And
real quick, just want to make sure we get this cleared out. Level 5 ranger, I don't get shit, right?
correct.
Get HP, brother.
Maybe
Besides
new
HP.
saves.
You get your
Yeah, saves, HP, and Thaco.
and rogue ranger hiding abilities.
Oh, yeah, sure. I've been keeping
get-
track of those.
Yeah, because you have a base chance to do a bunch of shit automatically, right?
Not a base chance. And then the next
31%
time
chance to hide in shadows, 40% chance to move silently.
Well, sorry, not a
pretty good.
bunch of things. Not
No.
a bunch of things is what I meant to say.
Right.
Yeah.
But you
But
do get
besides
your...
that, and then my
see.
tracking goes up at level 6.
Yes, your tracking goes up at every
3
level
levels.
divisible by 3, yeah. The rules of protector are good. Oh, did we ever pick out your favorite enemy as a ranger?
No. Remember we said
yeah.
we'd have something happen, and I've been thinking on it, like, haven't really had a lot of situations. Like, the closest one I'd say is undead,
Uh-huh.
but
That's a good favorite enemy.
it is a good favorite enemy. But you do have to realize that it would be incredibly difficult to not just attack undead on sight. Like, it's straight up you roll a will check with like a -4 penalty.
Yeah,
Or
and I
some
think
shit.
it has to be more of like a species that you get to know, although I guess an undead is close enough to a species. It is like a whole concept unto its
Yeah.
own. And I guess the bonuses for fighting, I think the way it's designed is you're supposed to get good at fighting one creature and knowing where their weak points are, but
Yeah.
the weak points of undead feel very varied since it's such a broad range of things. You know, you could have like undead zombies or undead ghosts or undead
Sure.
vampires.
Oh,
so,
sure. Yeah.
I
We'll
think in
find
later
something.
editions it allows you to just say undead.
But
But-
later editions are a little.
They're shit, Koibu.
Are you allowed to just say humans?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you are.
You can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can be your
I mean,
favorite
I would
enemy is other
say,
people.
like-
You'd be the asshole ranger who hates humans and has a -4 on all of your reaction checks to humans.
Yep.
The Manhunter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we're good to go to Confluence whenever.
Yeah.
Let's do
it. I think on our way out of time, Chive stops everybody and he says, "I've got this one today, guys." And then he pulls out his chanter from around his neck, and he opens it up, and he puts a little bit of horsehair inside next to the reed, and he closes it up again. And he plays a little tune, and he summons a light horse. Casts him out.
Nice.
And we're gonna do this 4 times. So I think it takes 10 minutes each time.
You have 4 spell slots?
I do.
You
I've
can-
got 3 first and 1 second, and that's a first level spell, and I'm just gonna burn it all.
All right. You burn it all. You create 4 magical mounts. What do they look like?
They're all just regular horses. They're all light horses with just regular leather saddles on them. They're not too fancy. They're just practical. They work. One's like kind of a black horse. One of them's kind of like a painted horse. One's brown with like some darker brown spots. You know, just typical horses. All a little bit different.
Okay. It takes 40 minutes to create the 4 horses, and they will each last for 2 hours plus 1 hour per level, and you are level 5?
Yes.
4? 3? 5?
5.
So they'll last
Well,
for
4.
7... 4? Okay.
4.
6 hours then.
6 hours then, yeah.
Yep.
6 hours and 20 minutes, but yeah.
5 hours and 20 minutes?
Well, 7 hours and then.
Oh, it was 7. You're level
Yeah.
5. Okay, got it.
Or level 4, and then you said it was 2. I'm sorry, 6.
Yeah,
You're
so
right.
6
You're right, you're right.
minus... Yeah. So 5 point a quarter or whatever. 5 and a third hours. And that should be...
True.
Let's see. The movement speed of these horses is...
Should be 24.
24.
And you can go double that, right? In miles?
Yep, so you could go 48 miles across open terrain.
In a full day. and
Luckily, the
Confluence is 30.
Harkenwood is pretty light wood area, if you ask me. So you can easily head out from Meadstead, down the peninsula, cross the bridge into Harkenwood, and from there on, there are roads and trails that will lead you directly to Confluence, and you can make the whole journey in but a single day.
Beautiful.
Arriving in
Amazing.
Confluence. Town as much as you have left it. People here are sort of just doing their thing. You can see that there are a lot more armed bands standing about, though. That's the only real difference from before, which is maybe a little bit curious because before there was an actual threat of this town, and now town is freed, but there's all these people standing around, all these peasant levies that have been raised. You don't see their lords or knights around anywhere, but the levies are standing about in town as you enter Confluence.
We're gonna go to the wizard guy who we met before in the Baron's keep.
The court
Was that
wizard.
in High Castle?
We met
No,
two.
no,
we met one
there was
here.
a court wizard in Confluence. Remember the Baron had a pet wizard?
Right. Okay.
We want to talk to the pet.
All right. Let me just see where I put my notes on that.
I guess while you do that, I'll ask the bard if he knows anything else about my spear or his cloak.
Well, let's take a look. Take a look here, and I'll sit around and examine the cloak and the spear, and see what we get. I think it's a 20% base chance out of a D100. So just
It should be a certain percent per level, right?
yeah,
Is
it's
it
5% per level. I'm
Okay.
4, so 20%.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
want high or low? Ooh, low it is. Where
16
was it all low?
Yeah. That'll
for
do it.
the spear,
The spear.
and then
And for the other one?
Bow.
the other one. Oh, that's not a copy paste. 23.
Oh,
Nope,
so close.
I thought you 25. Fuck, yeah, close.
that was close.
So you can tell more or less the same thing that we already know about the spear. This is a hobgoblin relic that has been seen about. The story that you know about this is that there was a hobgoblin a few years ago, maybe, what year is it now, 2012? 15, 12? Maybe 3 years ago or so. There was a group of giants that were led by a pack of hobgoblins that attacked the city of Redport, or the town of Redport, some time ago. And with them, there were a bunch of Kuatoa, which are strange fishmen that came out of the sea. Redport was lucky enough to withstand the onslaught, slaying the hobgoblins, killing a couple of one or two mountain giants, fending off most of the fish folks. And the hobgoblins and giants and remaining fish all sort of melted away and disappeared.
Oh.
You haven't.
So it doesn't sound like the hobgoblins are around anymore. It sounds like they all died off for the most part, or disappeared.
They fought. They failed. They didn't all get slaughtered. Some of them escaped, and that was that. And you know they still exist over here. They live in the Rock Ridge, which is this mountain range off to the side.
Oh, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Has he ever heard about like a non-hoblin figure wielding it with fire, or no?
Nope. The only story he knows is of a hobgoblin that was wielding a burning spear made out of the spine of some creature, leading hill giants into battle.
Well,
Good question would be, how did it get from over here to
Yeah.
that necromancer's hand?
True.
Necromancer probably came from over there.
the good news, at least he's not around here with the hobgoblins. It doesn't look like they're going to run us down for it. There's no reason to not keep it around. Sorry, I just don't know anything about your cape. I'd have to read some more. But maybe about your bow. I'll point to our good old buddy and see if he passes his bow or not. Jeb?
I will relay the information.
Oh,
I think in English language that he can understand.
Oh my god, we've got to solve
Yeah,
this
totally forgot about
linguistic
it.
problem.
It's happening slowly. Like I took a proficiency slot for it at level whatever the fuck.
All right,
Like-
we'll get there.
It's just, I think, it's basically like, hey, I've taken my second year of Spanish now
Yeah.
in
Right.
high school, so I can like ask some basic things. I can
Where's the
probably tell
bathroom?
you that the king lives over there.
I will start making like an effort to like primarily like
Yes.
respond to him and stuff in the tongue that I'm speaking with these people. But like if I can tell he's not understanding, I'll swap back and like explain what I just said to him, so you can like pick up words more.
Yeah.
If there's a way, like if I could take that as like a
Full
non-weapon proficiency, of, like teaching him like a language or something to make it go quicker or something like that.
A teaching proficiency, if you
like a
will.
teaching
Oh my god, I
proficiency?
think there's a teaching proficiency. I think I added such a thing. Hold on. It might
Seems
exist.
like a really good one.
Yes, I think I added a whole bunch of dumb proficiencies for like NPCs that no PC would ever take, and I think
Here I am,
teaching is
Koibu.
one of them.
Your dream.
Tutoring,
There it is.
wisdom-based proficiency,
I'm real
available
good
to
at that
priest for
shit.
one slot.
I'll grab it.
Oh wait, hold on. It says torturing, not tutoring. We're gonna add a tutoring one as well for the
Whoops.
same thing.
Fuck, I might want the
Whoops.
torturing one as well.
I accidentally tortured him.
You get a torture.
Same thing,
Do I
right?
get I only get one slot, right? Not two?
Yeah, you get one.
Okay.
Somehow he learned a language out of it. Wow.
Do I get a adjustment for it?
Um,
Learn the language
no,
of pain.
I think it's like a passive thing. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of tutoring checks, so it'll just be a flat wisdom thing.
All right. Well, I have a tutoring proficiency now.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm adding it to the list of proficiencies that we need here.
Beautiful.
Call me an NPC, everybody. I took the NPC prof.
That's all right. If you looked at mine, you'd be very disappointed.
I might need the torturing proficiency soon, though.
That's all right. I think you can get some help with that. Maybe a helping hand or two.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah, I'll like hand him over the bow, see what he says about it.
Sorry, I need to read some
37?
more.
No.
Wow. Thanks for the try, man. I really appreciate it. Probably say that in mystery and not even thinking about it.
Yeah, no problem.
What'd I
man.
tell you? We're speaking new languages. Say it in Erdonian.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I forgot. Thank you, Chavs,
Good.
for the story.
Yeah, no
Yes.
problem, man.
Good enough.
Appreciate it. All right, let's go see this court wizard. We've got something to do with him.
Okay. You can get to the court wizard. Who didn't find my notes on because I'm a disorganized asshole who puts notes in 5 different books instead of in one book. You guys are not drug dealers. You are not at the Shelterwood Inn.
Or a Google Doc.
You are not a Google Doc.
No, I'm saying you could put your notes in a Google Doc.
Yeah, that's right. Checked first. Scrivener and Google to see if it was there. Check over here. Rolls, hammer. No. It's somewhere over here. I'll find it. Anyway, you can find the wizard.
Excellent.
Hello.
Mighty fine to see you again. I got word from the king, and he's willing to let us bring our people from Latrine over.
Mm-hmm.
That shithole. But in order to do so, on the king's orders, as they say, I think we need some money, and I think my bard here needs some spells that you might know. So I think we're here to do a trade with you. I pull out the magical potion.
Ooh.
You have any use for this, or would you know anybody who is in...
He's the one who told us what it did.
I think so, yeah. Or have anybody who's interested in shopping for one of these? We'd need to hire a cargo ship to bring them over.
The wizard muses over the concept. This is the yellow potion of grease, right?
Correct.
Yeah. This is a prize, a good prize that the wizard would love to have. What can we do in terms of trade? He thinks aloud. Fortunately, I may not be the wealthiest man around. I would be willing to trade this for a spell, perhaps? 1 potion, 1 spell?
What about, maybe you, I don't know somebody on the dock with a big cargo ship, or maybe you talk to the Baron. I know you guys work very closely together. Maybe you could convince him or ask his Baroness to lend us a ship for 2-3 days.
Fortunately, none of the ships here in Confluence will make it to the Grand Canal. There's a bit of a waterfall. Our ships only go up and down rivers.
Well,
I have an old friend who had an adventuresome life on the high seas. He might be able to help you.
Where would he be? High Castle, I'd hope.
No. He is in Keldaram, a dwarven city to the north. Capital of the newly founded dwarven empire. Oh, those silly dwarves.
I look at him with eyes wide.
He realizes that you're a dwarf and goes, it's about time the dwarves had an empire of their own.
No, I think we'd be better under, what's the king of High Castle's name again? I need to write it down.
Oh, God. Great question.
He's the new king, it's not a big deal.
New king.
I don't have it written down. Sorry.
The problem with having notes is that you now need to remember
you gotta
your
find
notes.
them.
Yeah.
See,
Why do you,
that's what I like about having 7 in. I just don't take any notes.
That's what I did on my 5-int character.
High Castle. Here we go.
I took more notes when I didn't have to manage spells.
Nope. Count Albin Dropper is dead. Who is his replacement? I have already forgotten the king's name.
It's not that important.
As long as nobody's gonna get pissed at me for calling him the King of High Castle rather than his name, we can
That's
continue
fine.
on.
Yeah,
We'll
just
find
call him
it
the
later.
King of High Castle.
The King of High Castle. Well, we might take you up on that, but my bard here is looking for a very particular spell, so let's see if we can wheel and deal that first. If not, we'll redeem your favor in Keldaram.
Well, as my friend was saying here, maybe I can help with this. You're not very rich in gold, however rich in knowledge, and I was hoping to trade you some knowledge for some knowledge. So, the necromancer up north had turned, unfortunately, one of the temples into his unholy. Well, I don't know if you'd call it holy, unholy, what you call his place of work. However, I have his books from there, and I can show you exactly what he was doing and how he was doing it. Now, this is only as important as you can make better protection spells to stop and know what's coming your way. So I think this would be of great value to you. I have 4 books that I think would be of great value, and 2 other books I think or 2 other sets that would be of value in themselves. So 5 total things of knowledge, if you will, to trade.
And see his eyes go wide and his mouth begins to water in a Pavlovian response to this information about the tomes of this necromancer. Yes, I'm sure we could make some sort of deal. You have 4 books and a potion. What about 5 spells? 1 per book and 1 per potion.
We might need the potion, I think, for the transport, it seems like, correct? So maybe just 4 for 4?
Fine. 4 for 4.
Is that all right?
I poke him and whisper to Chives, 4 for 5. Look at him frothing.
Look, sometimes you don't press your luck on some of these.
I'll say it out loud. 4 for 5. You made fun of me. It's the least you can do.
Give me a charisma check.
Also, oh God, no.
That was quite rude.
I'm so sorry about that. I didn't.
Look, I don't think you meant any harm by it.
I'm not a racist. Look, I have lots of dwarven friends, okay? It's just, sometimes you're saying one thing and it comes out in a poor way. Silly dwarves, people are silly too. I profusely apologize, 1,000 apologies. You are clearly a chosen of Tempos, and you have helped slay the necromancers in Meadstead. Your people have done great works, and Eridon would not have been the empire it was without the hard work of industrious, intelligent, and upstanding citizens such as yourself. 4 for 4.
What a wonderfully said thing. I'm sure you meant no harm by it. I think we'll just need to take a look and figure out this trait of knowledge, though. You know what I have. Now, do you have any of the spells that I'm looking for? And one of them being, you need a piece of leather blessed by a priest, I've heard, and you rub it over yourself to make armor appear. One might call it armor.
Yes, a simple armor spell. Classic. Yes. Of course I have such a thing in my repertoire.
Good. That would be one of them. The second one being a very interesting spell. Some people think it's for trickery. However, down in the basement of this necromancer's tomb, people were locked inside of a cage and unable to get out. So I was hoping that you'd have the spell called Knock, per se, to open up these terrible things.
Yes. That was a spell I learned at the behest of my former lord.
It is quite useful. You should have seen how they were trapped in there. It was quite unfortunate. Terrible place.
It is a very useful spell. Does allow egress into areas otherwise guarded and prevented. It is a spell that could be used to free unjust prisoners, but it's also a spell that can be used to break into a treasury.
He is with the cleric of Tempos and a paladin.
We're traveling with such an honorable party. I see no reason to suspect we'd do anything wrong with this. And truly, you should have seen the place these people were trapped in. It was truly disgusting. I'm sure you have a spell to look at it if you'd like, but I promise you, you wish you didn't.
I think we brought like a head that the eyes were moving and everything, and I'll show him that.
Yeah, he sees it. Without giving an answer, affirmative or negative on it, he proceeds. Did you have other spells as well?
I will also say, I'll whisper to him, like, to Chives quickly as he's like talking or whatever. We might want to keep 2 of those books. Maybe 1 or 2. I could be very interested in looking into them.
Well, I'm keeping his diary is one of the books I'm keeping. I'm giving him his notes, the book on spirits, skeletons, and zombies. So if you want one of those, speak now.
Give me skeletons.
All right.
No, zombies.
You want zombies? All right. Yeah. I'll keep the book on zombies. I'll look back and I'm sorry, my wizard friend, my dwarf over here is needing some reassurances still, so he's keeping one of them. He wants one of the books. I'm sorry. So maybe just one more spell. Maybe if you could possibly give the great one of reading the magic. I've tried to learn it many times. It's just been rather unfortunate in learning it. I'm sure you have it.
Read magic?
Yes.
Such an elementary spell. Surely you must have learned this by now.
You would have thought it's quite incredible that one would have overlooked this elementary spell, but sometimes it happens.
I see. Well, you would be hard-pressed to learn anything on your own without it. I
Absolutely.
suppose
Borderline
I
impossible.
could... Yes, I suppose that is something I could easily offer you. Armor and read magic and...
Not, I believe, was the one I asked for. And these are great books that is from just outside the borders, fresh out of the Necromancer's lair.
It's certainly worth the cost. I just don't... To be frank, there have been people with shoe sizes similar to your own that have chosen to use such things for their own personal gain to the detriment of the people of Confluence.
So you're bringing up short people again.
No.
Abner, it's quite all right. It's quite all right, Wizard. I just maybe it's not the time to just talk about short things. I think shortcomings in people's characters not the thing that we have over here. We have nothing but tall.
Peoples whose loyalties are not to Confluence. Peoples whose loyalties are not to that of the town, but to no one. People who have no home cannot necessarily be trusted, for they can steal from one area and move on to the next. And as I understand, you are refugees with no home, nothing to nail you to. You could use knock to steal all the people here. They are refugees,
my friend. I have a home. I'm just choosing to travel some in my youth. Is there any problem with that?
Where's your home?
I wish to go home eventually, just not yet.
I hand the book of zombies back to my bard, and I take the book of skeletons. By the way, okay. Swap a room.
You want to swap a room? Okay. Well, if you can promise me that you will never use this spell to steal from good people.
Of course, I would never steal from a good person. I would never do something against someone who has never wronged me. Never.
Can you swear it to me? Make me an oath.
Shives thinks about it for a moment. Oaths are very serious business. They're not to be taken lightly. Let me think about my words.
Did he say good people?
Yeah.
Your wizard. He's with a cleric of Tempos and a paladin.
There's a paladin in our presence? I did not know this.
I am not a paladin. I am not a paladin any longer, Ebner. You should not have said. I'm saying this to Ebner. I'm not a paladin any longer. I cannot.
This is our paladin, and I point at him.
He looks to the paladin, the fallen paladin, eyebrows raised. You? Where are your trappings of your deity? Who do you serve? Do I know your name?
You do not know my name. My name is not important, but I will say that if you have heard of the deeds of my party that we have come before you here today, I can vouch for Chives and these other three men. I have traveled with them for a fair bit of time, and I know that they are upright and upstanding people. And
I poke him and say, "Tell him your name, son," and I give him a wink. He might know it. Don't be meek.
My name is Valerio.
Valerio, the paladin of Velmontarius, the god of justice. I have heard of you by reputation. Where are your trappings? Where are your scales?
When we went into Meadstead, we were undercover. So, as you see, we're a very just group. I follow Tempos. There's another godly paladin here.
I think he can speak. Let him speak for himself if it matters. It's quite all right.
You have heard no ill deeds of the people that I travel with, or of anyone here. We have just killed a necromancer. We have attempted to free a village. This person who is asking you for your help and your knowledge is doing nothing more than to do just deeds. And I would hope that you can...
I am just concerned that An oath given by a person who associates with a fallen paladin of justice might not be a serious oath.
Well, I think the gods act on everybody the same, even wizards alike. I don't think there's any difference between us in their eyes. So he's fallen. He was still closer than you've ever been. I mean, let's be realistic here. And I travel with clerics who are much closer to the gods than you or I. They only gave us the ability to do what we do, to use our heads. And I need the spell to help me on our way. You never know. We're traveling and moving our people a great deal of distance. That spell could be quite helpful along the way. I don't think this is a ridiculous question at all. I haven't asked what you're going to do with the books. I've left you to your own devices, even though there's great evil within them.
Well, I am an employee of the state. I would never deign to use these dark
and I would never even
evil.
question you on it.
Right, but offense, your credentials are not as clearly laid out as mine. You are.
So I should just take these books and leave them?
I want to hear that you will not use them for harm against my people.
Of the government.
Yes.
It is a simple spell. This is not. This is nothing ridiculous to ask for.
The monsters back home are workers for a state, and they rob us blind. I'm sorry if that does not mean much to me. You trust me to walk around with a crowbar I can access anything. What more is his spell than a fancy crowbar?
It's interesting notion. Fancy crowbar as it is a very fancy crowbar. One that could be used to bypass magically locked doors. Ones that a typical crowbar could not get through. You could use it to open a safe, for example. You could use it to steal from the Baron here. You could use it to rob the people of Confluence.
Why would we steal from someone who's offered us a home? That's ridiculous.
To be fair, I even offered the Baron of this land Meadstead. Do you remember that, right? Offered it up to him first.
Do believe I heard such a remark.
I think I've shown my loyalty to this land and to the party. I think that this spell is for formality.
Good. My dear wizard, I only ask that you judge us based on our actions and not our and we are here to move people from a worse place to a better place. That is all that we are asking.
If you were going to be settling your people in Meadstead, as the rumors speak, then I suppose you will have a home, and you will be easy to find. Knock it is. Knock, armor, and, oh yes, read magic, that trifle. Excellent.
And, since that one's so trivial, maybe you could do detect magic as well. They're kind of in the same family. I'm sure they're very close.
You cannot detect magic?
See, look, I'm very knowledgeable. I can read about everything. It's just some things are very, overlooked.
This is what happens when bards dabble in magic. They take ridiculous spells.
You're telling me.
I'm sure you have some nonsense like, I don't know, gaze reflection learned instead of one of those critical spells like detect magic or read magic.
Absolutely.
Right. So be it. You can stay with me and read out of my books until you have learned these spells.
And a note to your friend in Keldaram. You think he'd be interested? Yes, thank you.
Yes.
All right, and I'll turn over the zombie spirits and the notes book from the necromancer.
Perfect.
And
I'll throw in the diary on top of it. Oh
no,
you want the diary?
Keep that. Yes.
All right.
And I forgive you for your racism.
I'm terribly sorry about that incident. I didn't mean it was.
It's fine.
It was a slip of the tongue.
What's your dwarven friend name?
Rock Basher.
All right, you can tell the next person that your dwarven friend's name's Ebner. It'll be more believable.
All right. The party can rest in Confluence because it's going to take a couple of days to learn these spells. I do believe it is D2 days per spell level to learn. And you'll still have to make a roll.
a few things
Yeah,
as well.
6. I've got to make rolls, and it's 65%.
Yeah, let's roll well. 2. That's good.
Did you just learn all your spells?
One, I said detect magic, read magic. I got armor, and then that's 4, right?
That's 4. You had
Yeah, we did.
65% chance?
65% chance, yeah.
So it's 3 first and 1 second level spell. So it's going to be
Right.
3, 4, 5 D2 for the number of days that it takes to learn this shit.
Want me to roll it?
Yes, please.
You just rolled a D65.
Oh, I did roll a D65. Oh my god, no
Oh.
wonder, Connar. Your brain
Oh,
is too
shit.
good.
Okay, what's the order again?
Sawdon's like, wait a minute.
Just
somebody
armor,
checking.
detect magic, read magic, and then
Armor, detect
knock.
magic, read magic, knock. Okay, give me D100s.
2.
Armor,
Damn.
no detect
no.
magic, yes on read magic, and yes
Cool.
on knock.
Cool. All right. You have a chance though. Read magic was the better one of those to learn.
2d10?
2d5.
10?
2d5, sorry.
5D2?
The number of days, 5d2.
5d2.
5D2, yeah.
Take 5-0 days.
8.
Okay. I'm going to do a few things during this. 5 days, I'll be curing people's blindness,
Ooh.
2 a day, and deafness. So that's 10 people cured of blindness and deafness. The last 3 days, I will be doing 2 omen readings. Well, actually, omen readings is like a thing that I can just do. So I will cure 14 people's blindness and deafness. You can throw in disease, actually 10 people's blindness and deafness, 4 diseases. And then the last 2 days, I'm going to be casting weather prediction.
Excellent. I think in a town the size of Confluence, you're not going to actually have that many blind and deaf people, but you might have that many diseased people.
Yep, I'll do as many as diseases as I can. If I notice that there's no blind or deaf people,
Yeah.
I think you noticed that the first time we came through here.
yeah, I would have noticed that. So then I'll just do diseases then.
Towards the end of it, like 2 days into it, I might come up to Ebner and ask for the last 2 days before I go into the continue studying.
What do you mean? Sorry, I didn't understand.
I need your help with making a spell component.
Yep, I can do that.
Right, the blessed leather that you need. Yeah?
That should be a
Super
blessed
handy when you
spell,
have
8 hours in a holy place, and I'm
Fine.
hopefully that he can take care of all of that. And I just need, if you do 2 of them, that's great. So 2 days worth.
I think as Ebner is doing that, I'll probably help him out. I don't know if I can help him out with, like I have anatomy and healing proficiency. I don't know if I can go around with my little kit and help people with
Absolutely.
minor.
I think
whatever.
you and Ebner will probably take up in the temple here in town, where the sick and injured will usually come for assistance if they can. Those
Yeah.
2 port-afford private doctors. And usually healing is pretty limited. You know, clerics here are maybe somewhere between 4th or 5th level, so they'll have a few healing spells per day, so they have to be very judicious with how they give them out. Your appearance here will be quite well received.
and I'll take
do you-
2nd level healing spells the whole time, so I'll just pop them out every day.
Okay.
I can do naps and stuff too if needed. But
Yeah. Now, Valerio, you're gonna
Yeah.
get some sideways looks from the clerics in the temple. You know what you're doing. You're here to help people, so they leave you be. But paladins are few and far between, and people who are like into the gods, so to speak, or people who are in positions of power tend to know the names of the paladins that have cruised around, and it becomes very clear to you that these people have recognized you from stories in the past. And they keep, you'll look up and people will be looking at you and then they'll quickly look away. You can tell that they're discussing you behind your back in whispers, and because they never really approach you about any of these things, it doesn't feel good.
Right, I gotcha. I would say Valerio's probably this isn't surprising to him, as long as they don't sort of they don't approach him or bother him while in the process of doing healing work, then I would say that's pretty expected, and I'll just go about my trying to do good deeds. Yeah.
I'm going to cast weather prediction on the very last day. Just get this out of the way. I linked what it does. 95% first day, 10% each additional day. So this is for, I'm going to do 7 days. So 1, lower, 2, that doesn't work. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know that I should predict accurately the first day, the third day, the 5th day, and the 7th day. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't know if these are supposed to be secret rolls, actually. Maybe you should be the ones rolling.
I probably should have rolled them in secret.
So you can roll.
That's all right. I will make some adjustments here. We are going to be, it is going to be May when you guys leave. Okay. So your weather prediction that you get is going to be clear skies for the whole week.
Okay.
It should be a nice, easy journey.
Good.
And you guys are going to be headed towards Keldram.
Yep.
How would you like to get there?
We're going to mount
Horse?
up. Horse.
So you're just going to go overland.
Yeah, and then I'm going to talk to the bard and tell him that I have the nap spell. And I can nap him at some point, and then we can keep riding. Like, we can move really fucking quickly.
We could like force ride that whole way, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
those
we
horses
could
don't
probably get
tired.
there in a day.
That might work. Let me take a look and see what I can remember about this spell. Look at my notes. I think that'll work.
Should work. Unless bards have something weird with nap. And I'll
your
give you
spell
my
list, no
spell
wonder.
list again, Koibu.
Okay.
Invis to undead, light, cure moderate wounds, nap, and then create camp site and choose future.
So yeah,
Okay.
that'll work just fine. We can ride
Excellent.
as long as we can stay awake.
Why don't we take our first break here? It'll be May 8th is when you set out for Keldram. And we will come back and do that on the other side of our first break. See you guys soon. Bye.